With us is Jerry Kelly, the defending champion of the PGA Legend Tour Ally Challenge from 2019. Your second so far, or actually your career, your second Schwab Cup points ever. That's fantastic. You also won 3 times last year. We're so glad to have you. And Jerry, it was delightful last weekend to watch you play at the Workday Charity Open as you finished in a 5-way tie with a couple golfers named Ricky Fowler and Hideki Matsuyama. And that must feel great playing, teaming up with the kids.
It was really fun playing with the young guys. It's nice to remind them a little bit that I can still play. But I'm going to let them have that tour, and I'm looking forward to getting back to my day job, which is definitely the Champions Tour, and I am dying to get to the Ally.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that one. We're going to get into that in just a second. Now, obviously, you got to you go up with your skill against the PGA Tour regulars and that. Now, was it for you? Was it a matter of staying sharp because of the adjusted schedule this year? Is that why you played in that, or is it you like to test yourself once in a while?
Yeah, I do like to test myself, and as long as there wasn't a Champions Tour opposing it, I'd be happy to go play. And it's nice to see where your game stacks up with the best in the world, and I felt like I could have done better, but I think I did a pretty good job hanging with them. So, I don't have that much to prove staying out there, but It was definitely a tune-up for me to get ready for the real season.
Now, you started off with a 75 last week, but Friday through Sunday, you were right there with everybody. And that must make you feel good to know that you probably hit a little pothole and then you came out and hit such a great finish.
Yeah, I'm putting new clubs in. And that's why the beginning of the year on the Champions was so bad, because I put this new set in about 3 days before I left, and it felt like, okay, finally we've got something that I feel like I've been playing with forever. But I knew there were a couple of them that were a little off, and I didn't trust myself. And it showed up in competition.
That's a very good shot.
4 shots.
Execution to a T. Yes, sir. Very nice.
In that first day. So I got them fixed that night, and felt good about the
nothing like
the
walking
setup
to the 18th.
Now, whether you're playing on whatever tour you're on, and assuming you beat the legends most of the time, but the stands all gone and the fans gone, do you feel like you can spray it around, or is your game really just a tee to green, just be laser focused, or do you feel like can you spray it around? You tell me how you approach it.
Well, that's the hard part about not having grandstands, about not having the gallery ropes and the gallery on each side of the fairway. You get a much wider field of view, much wider focus, and they say bigger course, bigger misses, and that's kind of what happens when you're not finely tuned. You're not going into a stadium situation on 17, where it's clearly defined. You're not going to go outside of this area. All of a sudden there's this great expanse, and it's tougher to focus in on that smaller target when there's a wider expanse. So it will play a huge role not having people and not having grandstands.
Now, I think it's very cliche to say that the players miss the fans. I know the fans miss you guys out there, but what does it mean for you and the rest of the players? What has been some of the conversation that you guys have had about waiting for fans to come back?
Well, understand it's not cliche because I need them. I've always told everybody my whole career, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm a pretty good 2 handicap. But once that light goes on for the tournament and everybody gets jacked up, that's what gives me the energy to actually compete and play the game. And it is the fans that is giving us that energy. That's where it's coming from. And it's really hard. You got to drum it up somehow. And I think I have an advantage because I'm defending champion, and that's going to put a little bit more pressure on me. That should give me some good adrenaline. But we want those fans back.
Yes, sir.
Bad.
Very nice.
Well, it sounds to me like it's a It's like Chuck Woolery. It's a love match coming up there at some point. You know, one of my I want to talk. We're going to turn it a little bit more to the Ally Challenge. One of my favorite moments was 2 years ago when the Grand Blanc schools, they weren't in session. They had the fans parking and all that, and those kids were standing right outside the scoring tent. I bet you and the players realized they had kids lined up with all the flags, and they got all the names. And I told them, I said, there isn't a guy here that'll stiff you. And those kids were all extremely happy to see you. I think you made somebody's day. These little 8, 9-year-olds. Now they're going to come out and well, they won't be able to beat you because they're 50 years. You know what I'm saying. But that must make you feel good when the kids come out to watch you guys.
It's so cool. I mean, really. I mean, it's kind of our job out there on the Champions Tour. You know, you've got the PGA Tour that's the best in the world. Our job is to kind of entertain and grow the game. And, you know, some guys on the PGA Tour, they tend not to be able to find the time. Even the guys that were like that who are on the Champions, they all get it now. You know, I mean, it's important for us to grow the game and have the kids involved and just be genuinely good people to everybody. I think it's really fun.
Now, last year's Ally Challenge, it always comes down to shot making on those final holes. And because you play this course is different than some of the ones you play. This old style country club course where the tree branches can still trip up a beautiful drive into I don't want to finish the sentence. I guess what I'm getting at here, let me think on this just a second, but what is it about, the finishing holes at Warwick Hills? Where do you got to be? I mean, is there a hole that you have to have a birdie on, or you got to have a par, or you're going to lose a shot to the field?
Well, I mean, you've got a birdie opportunity in 16.
For sure, that par
5. 15 is a tough par 4. It's going to be a tough pin, and it's a tough drive.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got 16, you know, you can make up a shot there. But it comes down to 17. It comes down to 17 when you've got all that adrenaline pumping and you've got all these fans wanting you to make birdie for a beer. It's extremely important that you make birdie for a beer. And, you know, once you get through 17, depending on where you stand in the tournament, you've got to hit a great drive on 18. I mean, that's a really good driving hole with a big tree on the left and don't want to leave it out to the right. It's just a good closing finish. And, you know, it's a great Midwest course. It's right out there in front of you. There's no tricks to it, but you got to go off your ball. I love having the old trees lining the golf course. It just shapes everything so well. It's pretty cool.
Sure does. And 18's got that green is just kind of like, slopes from back to front. There's a lot going on there, and you got to put it in the right spot.
Yep.
And for sure. Just a couple of last questions. Now, moving forward, when you guys are preparing, it looks like your schedule is pretty much fleshed out, although I don't like COVID interviews or whatever, but it looks like you guys got to kind of be flexible this year because every time we think we're out, they pull us back in. I mean, how are you preparing for your stops?
Really? I mean, we appreciate the Michigan governor letting us in and letting us play. And all we can do is hope those talks go well and they see a benefit for us coming in and putting on a show. But we can't guarantee ourselves, of being able to play from week to week. It's going to be a fluid situation. And we have to respect the law, and we have to respect, the area that we're going into.
All right. Well, Jerry, I look forward to introducing myself to you in a couple of weeks. Good luck. I know you're going to make some money out there, and you're going to continue to show fans. I don't know if anybody at all is getting in. I don't know if they're going to have a few. But I know in Ohio, I'm going on the LPGA tour stop at the old Jamie Farr Marathon. They're letting people in, but that's Ohio. And but at least you can show them, whether it's TV or in person. It looks like it's going to be TV only this year. But I know you're going to show that because you guys are the best game in town. Thanks a lot for all you do, man.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot. It's awesome. Can't wait to see you guys.
All right, got it. A couple weeks. Thanks, Jerry.